Hi, Tom again with another video, and this one we're going to look at merging to HDR in Photoshop. HDR stands for High Dynamic Range, and the dynamic range is the range of tones within an image, and there are a limited number of tones that an image can cope with normally. So from the blackest black, which might be on the TV there somewhere, or in the shade down here, to the whitest white, which is probably some of that sky. There's a range of tones within that, but it's still not really capturing all the potential of the image. So what you can do is you can get your camera to take some other images, as long as it's on a tripod or something keeping it steady. So the next one I took here, when I bracketed, what it's called bracketing the exposures, I underexposed this one, and what that's done then is allowed the sky to be, or the outside areas to be a little more saturated or closer to actually the kind of tones that we want out there. So notice the first one is kind of all blown out there, and the third one is actually picking up the detail in the shadow areas, but outside it's got nothing at all. So if we could merge them together somehow, it would create a combination to extend the tonal range, and that's what merging to HDR does. So if I go into Photoshop now, I'll just make sure I know the numbers here, 2864, and go up to the File menu and go to Automate and go to Merge to HDR, and then I'll go and look for that 2864 to 2866. I'm holding down the Shift key on a PC here to select the three images and tell it to open them, and then when I have them open I can tell it OK, and it's bringing those in as separate layers. So each of the three images is going to reside on its own layers, and then the fourth layer there is where Photoshop is doing some number crunching to merge the layers together, and here's the result of that, and here's the controls I've got. I can't show the whole screen here unfortunately, but here's the controls I've got to vary how the images come together, and I can still adjust the tone curve here or use advanced sliders here, you know, putting more vibrance in or whatever. I can choose the preset here, so if I wanted something a bit weird looking, I could maybe try some surrealistic high contrast and get an unusual effect, maybe a city twilight one, which obviously isn't going to work very well on this. And then there's some monochromatic ones that have various settings, but you can actually achieve these by adjusting the settings yourself. So I've gone back to the default. I'll click on the remove ghosts, which means if the leaves, for example, are blowing in the wind out here between the exposures, it'll try and fix that by getting what appears to be a still leaf. And so if I'm happy with that, I'll OK that, and so I'm clicking on that OK button that you can't see on the video because it's outside the range of the video, but this will actually bring it into Photoshop now as the merged version, and there we have it. I'll just zoom in a little. Oh no, it's not, it's still doing it, I beg your pardon. So it's converting that to the HDR image, and any tick of the clock. And as I was saying before, Photoshop's doing a lot of number crunching here. It's a lot of pixels to manage, and you can see the difference that makes. Now, whether or not you like the result is questionable, but sometimes you can get some really interesting effects, and it's a super way of extending your photography. So that's the end of that one for HDR photography.